Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's wonderful to see all of you. Tonight, I want to begin this sermon with a confession. I must admit to you just one of my many flaws, something I'm not good at. But in my defense, it took me a while to realize that I'm not good at it. I just kind of figured it out recently. So here it goes. I'm really bad at birthdays. Let's explore this further, shall we? I can start by telling you that I'm even bad with my own birthday. I don't like it. I don't like that there's a day that acknowledges that I'm another year older. I don't like people buying me gifts for my birthday. It's a tie. I don't like when people sing me happy birthday, because I don't know what to do. You just stand there awkwardly while they sing and make a weird smile. I don't like birthday parties. When you take a perfectly good cake and then light it on fire, and everyone says, make a wish, and then someone just blows their germs all over the cake. Blah! I don't like it. Guys, I just don't like birthdays. That being said, I know there are a lot of people who really like birthdays, including one that I happen to be married to. And literally every year, I attempt to make her birthday special, and every year, I feel like I totally miss the mark. It's actually kind of amazing how bad at birthdays I am. Like if being bad at birthdays was a superpower, I would be Bad Birthday Man. I would be like the leader of the Bad Birthday Justice League. I'm that bad. I am not good at birthdays, and I try. One year, several years back, while I was in rabbinical school in Los Angeles, I decided that that was going to be the year that I turned things around. And I decided that that year I would give my lovely wife a fantastic birthday surprise. Woohoo! Here we go. Birthday extravaganza. Let's go. But because I'm bad at birthdays, I didn't really know where to start. So I started asking my friends and classmates in rabbinical school. I said, what should I do? Where should we go? And I realized very quickly that most of the other men that I talked to were likewise pretty terrible at birthdays. The guys' suggestions were just as bad. We were all just so clueless. I asked my friend Danny, I said, where should we go? And he thought for a long time, and then his face got really serious. He goes, I know what to do. I said, okay. He said, take her to Outback Steakhouse and order her the bloomin' onion. A bloomin' onion? That just sounds like deep fried sadness, not a birthday win. That was the best we could come up with. It was like we were a bunch of apes or something. We had no idea how to treat a wife on her birthday. It quickly became apparent that I needed to talk to a woman about this. And so I started asking my female classmates, and their suggestions were so much better. So much better. My friend Amanda, she had a great idea. She said, Jonathan, you need to take her to the Magic Castle. And I said, yes. We're doing that. That is good. That's way better than an onion. Magic Castle. Now, if you've never been or if you've never heard of the Magic Castle, it's a clubhouse in Hollywood that serves as the home of the Academy of Magical Arts. And guests can experience close-up magic. There's parlor shows, full stage illusions, and it's in this elegant Victorian-style mansion. It's really cool. So I go home, and I tell my wife, I say, honey, I got a surprise for your birthday next week. This year it's going to be different. This year is going to be great. I said, baby, we're going to the Magic Castle for your birthday. And she gets really excited, and she gives me a big hug and says, oh my goodness, this is amazing. I can't believe you were able to get an invitation. An invitation, you say? And she says, you know that the Magic Castle is a members-only club, and a member has to invite you to visit. You know that, right? And I said, of course I know that. I did not know that. I thought I could just go on the internet and buy 2 tickets that I couldn't afford. But that's not how it works. But I knew a lot of people in Los Angeles because I was interning at several large shuls there. So I decided I was just going to start emailing important people. Rabbis, teachers, business people in the synagogues. I emailed everyone, just asking if they knew a castle member that I could get an invite from. Surely, I thought, some Jew in LA knew a guy who was a member. And by some miracle, I was connected to someone that I didn't even know, a friend of a friend who was very, very kind, and they gave me an invite just in the nick of time. But when they emailed me the tickets, they wrote in the email, Jonathan, you do know there is a dress code at the castle, right? And I wrote back, of course I know that. Again, I did not know that. It turns out, friends, just to even enter the Magic Castle, gentlemen are required to wear a jacket and a tie, which was problematic because I had no jacket, and the only tie I owned at the time was the one my dad bought for me at my grandma's funeral 8 years before. Keep in mind, rabbinical students are just basically impoverished. We have no money. There was no way I could go out and just buy a jacket from a store. And it kind of offended me. A dress code? Really? Why do I need to dress a certain way to access a certain space? Why? And it's this question, friends, that is at the heart of our Parsha for the week, Parshat Tetzaveh. In this Parsha from the book of Exodus, God commands Moses to instruct Aaron and his sons regarding the sacred garments they must wear while serving in the Mishkan, the ancient tabernacle. And the Torah goes into incredible detail. The ephod, the breastplate with 12 precious stones, the robe he's supposed to wear with pomegranates and bells. There's a turban and a sash and a golden plate engraved Kadosh LaAdonai, holy to the Lord. It's a lot. And I think, if we're being honest, it doesn't necessarily make intuitive sense to us. Why all these fabrics? Why all of these colors? Why bells on the hem? Why can't the Kohen Gadol just show up in something comfortable, maybe business casual Mishkan wear? But the Torah is clear. When the high priest, when the Kohen Gadol enters this sacred and holy space, he must dress in a way that reflects the gravity of where he is going and know before whom he stands. The clothing is not about fashion. It's about consciousness. It's about kavod, honor. It's about recognizing that access to holiness requires intentionality. And when we think about it like that, suddenly the Magic Castle doesn't seem so strange anymore. You want to enter a space dedicated to wonder, mystery, illusion, an elevated experience, there's a dress code, a jacket and a tie. Because what you wear shapes how you experience where you are. The Magic Castle understood something that our tradition has known for thousands of years. External preparation creates internal readiness. When you put on different clothing, you carry yourself differently. You sit differently. You speak differently. You behave differently. The clothing doesn't change who you are, but it changes how you show up. And that's what the priestly garments were about. God wasn't concerned with fashion trends in the desert. God was teaching a deeper lesson. If you want to enter a sacred space, you don't just wander in casually. Hashem has to invite you. You must prepare. You have to elevate. You have to signal to yourself and to others that this is a sacred moment that matters. And here's where it becomes personal, because most of us don't walk into the tabernacle on a regular basis. Friends, your home can be a sacred space. Your Shabbat table is a sacred space. Your friendships with your loved ones are likewise sacred spaces. And the question becomes, how do we prepare for these sacred spaces? Do we wander into the moments of our lives casually, distracted, and unprepared? Or do we put on garments that the moment requires? Maybe the garment you need to wear to enter your home after a long day at work is patience. Or maybe the garment you need to wear at your Shabbat table is presence by putting your phone away. Maybe the garment you need to wear in a difficult conversation is one of humility. Or maybe the garment you need to wear for your spouse's birthday is effort. Because here's what I realized while I was standing in my apartment in Los Angeles holding my funeral tie and no jacket. Sometimes access to something special requires stepping up. So I did what any desperate rabbinical student would do. I borrowed a jacket from a friend that was way too small for me. And I took my wife to the Magic Castle. And something interesting happened that night. The jacket didn't just get me through the door of the castle. I feel like it changed how I experienced the evening. I stood a little taller. I felt like I belonged in that elegant Victorian mansion with the close-up magic. I felt like I had risen to meet the moment. And the night itself, the night was excellent. The magic was dazzling. The dinner was delicious. My wife was glowing. And for once, friends, just for once, I actually succeeded at a birthday. Parshat Tetzaveh teaches us that holiness is not accidental. It requires preparation. It requires intention. It requires garments, sometimes literal, sometimes spiritual. And while we may not have a breastplate with 12 stones like the Kohen Gadol, or golden bells on our hems, or even a suit jacket in our closet, we can choose how we show up. We can choose to dress our moments with care. We can choose to elevate the ordinary. We can choose to treat time, space, and people as sacred. And if you're ever unsure of what to bring, just remember, whether it's at the Mishkan or at the Magic Castle, apparently God and magicians agree. No bloomin' onions, but bring a jacket and tie. Shabbat Shalom.